Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joy of Pixels podcast for Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am joined today by some very special people. Oh my goodness, Durbin, your video just switched for me now.
No, I've done it on purpose because
Oh,
on stream
okay.
I was on the opposite side.
Everything's messed up today, but I am very glad to have Durbin here today from twitch.tv/Durbin. How are you doing today, Durbin?
Quite good, except some small headache, but it's gone by now, so it's been pretty good.
Oh,
Thank you
sorry
for
to hear
having me
that.
on, by the way.
Absolutely. We are also joined by the Akko Sambo, as usual. How are you doing today, Akko?
Doing all right.
Very good. Did you guys all get you a PS5 and a RTX 3080 and your Nintendo 3D All Stars, and what else came out?
Everything came out, yeah.
I got it all installed on my Xbox.
Well, we'll be talking about all of that stuff. Let's see. We're gonna save all that stuff a little bit for later, but let's go ahead and jump into the games that we've been playing. I feel like this is mostly gonna be Durbin's time because Akko and I have literally been playing like the exact same stuff. I'm still playing Wind Waker, still playing Call of Duty, and playing Dragon Age Origins. I am just about to finish Origins. I'm just wrapping up some side quests.
You put in some hours then.
I did, yeah. I put in a bunch of hours last weekend. I think I probably put in like 20 hours just over the weekend.
Can I ask you something about Dragon Age Hal?
Absolutely.
Don't you find it annoying that the text when you're talking to the NPC is on top of the screen and then your party is on the bottom?
It is weird, yeah, that it's like that.
Horrible. I don't
There's so many weird things about this game. First of all, it's bizarre to me that Dragon Age Origins came out after Mass Effect 1, because Mass Effect seems like just such a more polished game, just such a better game. I'm very conflicted on Dragon Age. I like the story a lot. I think the story is really good. I think the characters are fantastic. The writing is fantastic. But man, the gameplay is just rough.
Yeah.
Like I just do not enjoy the gameplay. I don't enjoy the combat. The actual like exploration is interesting, but it's like it's broken up into such tiny little areas and zones. It just doesn't feel like a big, massive world to me. And it doesn't have to be like an open world or something like that. But I don't know. It's weird. I think maybe like the some of the dungeons might be my favorite part, just exploring the dungeons. But even some of those just get really just kind of repetitive, and just samey. But yeah, by far the best part of that game is just the story and the characters. The controls. The controls are awful too. Just really struggle with the controls. Who's my favorite? What character? Yeah. Companion.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how you get companions. You get some companion, like depending on how you start, you get some companions very late in the game. But I think, I don't know. I really liked Alistair, I guess how you say it. I really liked him up until this one point that I got to. And it really kind of bothers me, like how big of a change he has at one part late in the game. Morgan, I think, is a really interesting character. Liliana is interesting. Wynn seems like, I think I would really like Wynn if I knew more about her, but I got her very late. So like I haven't really learned much about her yet. It's also weird how that works out with like the companion quests, because I'm assuming that there's a companion quest for everyone, but I have only gotten Morgan and I think I've gotten Alistair's, if it's what I think happens. It's just like a really short quest. But but I haven't gotten anyone else's companion quest, and I don't really know. I know Vermalt was saying that it has like something to do with your loyalty or their loyalty to you. They have to be at like a certain loyalty level, but I don't have anybody that really is like really low level towards me or anything. I feel like I've tried to play pretty neutral for the most part, which is probably not the best thing to do. But I don't know. It's definitely very interesting what's going on with some of the choices and the story. I think it's really interesting that like this game is basically just a medieval version of Mass Effect. And
it's like the dark fantasy equivalent.
It really is. Yeah, and for me personally, like this is just a very personal thing. I much prefer a sci-fi story. I just prefer science fiction in general over fantasy. So I knew going in that like there was just no way that I was going to like this as much as Mass Effect. But again, with all that being said, like it still just has some fantastic writing and story and character development.
You haven't gotten to
and
the
that kind of
point
stuff.
where the Reapers invade the Dragon Age universe. So.
I wonder. I was gonna say probably not though. This is not like a thing where this takes place all in the same universe, is it? Where Dragon Age is like pre-Earth, 5,000 years or something. But I don't think Dragon Age takes place on Earth. I think it's like a fictional world, isn't it? Or do we really know?
I don't think we have any definitive.
Maybe it's in like a previous cycle before, like one of the previous cycles that the Reapers had, wiped out civilization, and this was like a previous civilization or something.
I think
maybe this is early Protheans. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Maybe this is like pre-Protheans.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? I think you're figuring out a fan theory there.
I don't remember any of that. It's been such a long time since I played it.
I was going to ask.
I agree with you how the combat was bad. Yeah, that's
one
thing I remember.
It's weird because it tries to be like a really tactical combat, but I feel like it just doesn't do a good job at it. The real time / pausing that you're able to do just doesn't really work very well to me. The companion AI is just awful sometimes. And I've tried to go in and set up like the tactics and get everything set up for people to do certain stuff, and it just I admit probably something is not working right, or I'm not understanding something right in the tactics, because it is very complicated. But I swear, like, I will set people to attack a certain person, and then for whatever reason they'll just stop attacking them and like go off and do their own thing. And I guess the most important part is that in that game is to get like a healer set up. That does seem to work okay for the most part. Once you get Morrigan, I feel like everybody just sets Morrigan to be the healer. Once you get her to be the healer, then it works pretty good. But man, even playing on easy, I get just destroyed sometimes.
Yeah, I remember. I think I mentioned it last week. I played through the game on easy as well because of the combat, and I remember one major side quest boss, and then one of the, I think it might be the final fight in the game. It took like an hour, the fight, because it was so much like healing up, then doing a little bit of damage, healing up. It was crazy.
Is one of those bosses the one in the Shadow Tower, like where you face the undeads? Because I got stuck in that tower and I quit the game because of that. I didn't want to lower the difficulty for some reason, and I just couldn't beat them anymore.
Wait, so did you not finish the game?
Nope. I gave up on that area. Yeah. I need to go.
No,
I want to get back into it. It wasn't? Okay.
No, I think the side quest one is the conclusion to the Sacred Ashes quest, okay, without saying anything, and then I think the final boss of the game.
Oh, it's interesting how you can do those out of order. So I did the Sacred Ashes first. And
Finish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Sacred Ashes that you go and get to heal the guy.
Mm.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I've mixed something up, but
I mean, the only reason I did that is because they they have it like listed first in the quest list. But I was telling Vermalt that I was doing that. She's like, "Why are you doing that first?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's what was first there." Yeah, I did that one, and then trying to remember what I did second, and then I did the dwarven area last. I guess I did the mages. I can't remember the name of it, but the mages quest is the second one that I did, and then the dwarven area last.
Yeah, I think I first went to Redcliffe, then to the dwarven area, then to the mages or so. But it's been a long time since I played through the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm I'm very mixed on it. I'm excited to finish it just to kind of, finally say that I played Dragon Age. But I mean, I sound like I'm being very negative towards the game. I do like the game. I wouldn't have played it if I hadn't been enjoying it. It's just that gameplay is just really rough, and it's too bad. I think it's really interesting that everybody wants a Mass Effect remaster, and it seems like Dragon Age would be much better game to remaster or remake. Dragon Age Origins in particular. Maybe even do Dragon Age 2 as well, and
I think if they would bundle it 1 and 2 together,
Yeah.
and have like a remaster out of that. I mean, I honestly think, especially the first one, would be really good with turn-based combat, kind of Divinity style.
Yes.
I think then in 3 the real-time combat works well enough, and it's fun enough. And 2 is kind of in between them. But I feel like, especially in the first one, like if you have those encounters as a turn-based combat, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because, man, the whole time I was playing it, I was like, I really want to play Divinity. This is really just making me want to play Divinity.
Yeah.
I even booted up Divinity Original Sin 1 because I've never actually played Divinity Original Sin 1, and I was just kind of
amazing.
playing a little bit of that.
I've done it 2 times. Well, actually, I've done it once, and then the second time I went on the hardest difficulty, but it's so hard. I'm trying to go slow, but it's so punishing and challenging.
Yeah.
I cannot make mistakes during the combat at all.
I'm sure it's very similar to 2, and I know 2 is just like...
No, it's actually, I mean, it's similar, and it is similar, but one thing which the first one does differently is you miss your attacks so much more often. It's incredible. Like, I feel, especially in the first part of the game, you miss on average 1 in 3. So it's pretty much just luck of the draw if you're going to defeat some of the enemies or not, because it depends so much on the accuracy of your characters. It's a bit frustrating, by the way, but yeah.
And it's a tough game. I played through it with Squidgeneer and co-op, and I think we played on normal difficulty. And it has some difficult moments. Like, I mean, we both played our fair share of strategy games, and it can really kick your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
But anyway, I didn't mean to go first. I just kind of jumped in. I'm sorry to be rude.
It's your podcast. You can do whatever you want.
Let's see. Akko, you're still playing Wasteland 3, and you finished Tell Me Why, right?
Yes, I finished recording it. So
so tell
really
me, is Tell Me Why worth
it? I think so. Yes, I think it's really, really good. Like I said, last week, it's one of those games where it's hard to talk about because the less you know about it, in the end,
it's so story driven.
The better. Yeah, exactly. But I will say now that I was able to get through the game, that for me, it's definitely up there quality wise with Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm. I mentioned that I wasn't a big fan of Life is Strange 2, and I think it's not necessary that Life is Strange 2 is better or worse than the other games, and I feel like that goes for all of them. It's really, can you connect with the characters, and can you connect a little bit with the story that they're telling? And I feel like with Tell Me Why, I got into the characters pretty quickly and was very intrigued by the story. The story is very well written. It has a few twists and turns, but at the same time knows what it's doing. It's not overcomplicated. It's not overwritten, and just tells a good, personal, mature story with some pretty heavy topics in there, but very well handled. And I can just recommend it to people if, especially if you enjoyed games like the Life is Strange games before.
Very cool. Do you know what you're going to be playing next?
I'm not quite sure. The reason why I kind of rushed to record the entirety of Tell Me Why was because I won't have too much time next week recording anything else. So probably will have a week or so thinking about what I will do after that. But yeah, since Wasteland 3 probably will take a little more time still, like a few more months. I think I would prefer a game that is also fairly short, like nothing too long of a game. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, let's see. Speaking of short games, let's talk about Bloodborne.
Short games.
Yeah, it's a super short game. It takes like 3 or 4 hours to
I don't
finish.
actually know how many hours I have because it's on PlayStation. It's not on Steam, so I don't see the amount of hours I have in the game. Oh wait, I can actually check the save file, I guess.
Yeah, I think it does show you on your number of hours on the save file. But anyway, Durbin has been playing Bloodborne for the first time, right?
Yep.
First playthrough. And let's see, your experience with Souls games is what? What all of you played?
Everything except Bloodborne.
Have you played Demon Souls?
No, okay, of course. I haven't, of course.
I mean,
Don't
of course,
remind me.
that's the first Souls game.
It is true, but it's been more than a decade, man. It's not my fault.
So what do you think?
It's amazing. It's actually, I think it's overtaken Dark Souls for me right now. Like, as I was going through the game, it was like Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, it was, sort of close to each other. But by the end, I think Bloodborne has overtaken it, The game is amazing. There's actually, I have to say, there's a couple of really bad bosses, like Celestial Emissaries and the Living Failures are amongst the worst bosses in the Souls games in general. But like the good bosses and the amazing bosses just outdo those two bad
I feel like
bosses
all of the Souls games have that boss in
They
it, though.
do.
Like it's
They do,
just
but I don't remember anything as bad as these two, honestly. Like, I'm trying. There's some bad bosses in Dark Souls. For example, the one Capra Demon is bad. I don't think
mean,
it's this bad.
Islith, is that her name? The one, the
Islith,
tree,
the Witch of
Islith,
yeah.
The Bed of Chaos.
Bed of
Yeah.
Chaos. Sorry.
Well, that one is annoying, but I kind of like the design of the boss, but it's just very frustrating. This one is just, especially the Living
The
Failures,
Rat
because it's a
King
DLC boss.
or the Rat Vanguard.
Oh, the
That
Rat
was the one where
King.
you just killed small rats.
You just
Like
kill the small
half
rats,
of Dark Souls 2 bosses.
The Dark Souls 2 has so many bosses,
I like
so it's
Dark
kind of
Souls
hard to
2.
remember some of them. But yeah, like the Living Failures, like the main reason I'm so disappointed with that one is because it's a DLC boss. You don't expect when you release a DLC only containing, like, in general 4 to 5 bosses for one of them, so like 20% of the bosses, to be that bad. But that one was just so bad for some reason. But listen, the rest of them are so good. Like the DLC, Orphan, of course, Ludwig, Lady Maria, and who is the one I'm missing? Ludwig, Lady Maria. I'm missing one more, but so Ludwig is the first one, Lady Maria the third one. This is the last boss. I'm
Oh,
missing
it's
the
the
Lawrence,
yeah.
the first vicar. Yeah, those four
right,
bosses
right.
were so good. I have to say I have one regret with the game. It's the fact when I came back after DLC and I had to do the last 3 bosses in the game, I was so over leveled.
Yeah.
So I beat the last boss in the game in 3 attempts, which I'm sure wouldn't happen if I was level 70 instead of level 85.
Yeah,
That was
if there's any negative to those games, it's that the way they do DLC. I mean, I love the way that they do it, but it is just like so convoluted and so confusing on how to do it.
Yeah.
I think Bloodborne is not too bad, but like Dark Souls 1 is just bizarre how you have to get into the DLC for Dark Souls
Well,
1.
and with Dark Souls 1, also the issue there obviously was that it's like when a lot of people played through the game before, so then you either have to play through the game again when the DLC came out, or you
Yeah.
have to do it on NG Plus, which can be which was also, I think, an issue in Bloodborne, that people were in NG Plus, and it's like oof, often
I was on
cost,
NG Plus
NG
2
Plus.
when
Yeah.
I did Bloodborne DLC.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going through my first one right now because of the Chalice Dungeons, and I also missed one of the trophies in the DLC, the one to collect all the weapons. So I have to redo it now. Oh well.
So you have completely beaten the game, right? Like you've seen
Yeah,
credits.
every single boss. I think the last boss I've done, the Moon Presence. I think that's actually an optional boss, or you get it only by doing certain ending. But I managed to get that one somehow. I don't know how. So yeah, I've done every single boss, and like I said, outside of the 2 or 3, like most of the bosses were so good, and the game as a whole is designed in such a good way. I love the fast-paced combat, and Bloodborne delivers on that specifically. Maybe like the one regret I have is that I didn't really take the full advantage of the parry mechanic, which I have to admit is done really nicely and quite interesting. But I don't really like parries in general in Souls games,
I
and
don't
this
either.
one, yeah, and this one is no difference.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you can do some pretty crazy builds with, like, you can do a gun only run if you want to, and you can get some of those guns like crazy powerful. So have you done any of the Chalice Dungeons? Did you play around with any of the Chalice Dungeons?
Yes, I actually started the first one today. The one that you get when you beat the blood-starving beast, you know.
Mhm.
And I was expecting something much more challenging, but I'm guessing because it's the first one,
Yeah.
enemies are dying in one hit.
Oh,
and
they
the
will
first
get
boss died in 2
challenging.
hits.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Chalice Dungeons are kind of weird because they don't scale with your level at all. So like you can be on plus, new game plus 7, and they don't scale with that at all. But they will definitely get challenging. Just trust me.
Yeah, I know. I heard from a friend that it gets some more challenging, that you actually need like more than one player in the end. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
and I feel like that is both the strength and a little bit the weakness of the Chalice Dungeons for me personally. That they are fun doing co-op with a friend when you just meet up and like, oh yes, let's do one Chalice Dungeon after another together. But I also felt like that they got very repetitive after a while, and like they just kind of rely on throwing large groups of enemies at you that have insane amounts of health, which is kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's then very tough, but it wasn't really fun to play through them. The bosses can be fun, but it's like then you have to kind of like, I found myself mostly then just running through the Chalice Dungeons to get to the bosses.
They
because
get a little grindy because you have to start collecting certain materials to get to create the whatever you call them to actually get into the Chalice Dungeon.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that, but at the same time, like as a totally optional, just kind of a add-on type thing, basically.
Sure.
I think it's awesome. I love the Chalice Dungeons, and I love the idea and like the lore behind them. I think it's really, really interesting. Do you get into the lore at all, Durbum?
I would like to say yes, but I don't. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I don't.
I'm kind of the same
I'm
way.
actually. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm kind of the same way. Like I always want to. With that being said, I think Bloodborne is just like it makes me want to get into the lore more than any other of the games. It seems like it's so interesting.
Well, I
will-
will start with a YouTube video in the next couple of days to get myself through the story and try to understand everything. So that's my goal now.
One of the like I definitely went down the rabbit hole of like watching lore videos and all of that, but then one of the most creepy and interesting little details to be found in the game, which it's not really like it's no spoiler when you find the area of the old hunter stream where you get to basically your hunter stream but in the through normal ways, and you find the doll laying there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the doll's hand is actually twitching.
The
one
way it
finger.
twitches, yeah.
Yeah, and it just I saw that, it was like, ugh, that's just so creepy.
Have you seen?
Obviously, the implication that the doll is dreaming in the dream.
Have you seen the eyes on the back of her head?
Yeah, I've seen as well. Yeah.
Have you seen this, Durbin?
No.
So if you go to her and if you position the camera just right and you clip inside of her head, and then you can see the back of her eyes, and she has eyes on the inside of her eyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The game is full of details. It's
It's
kinda hard
crazy.
to catch every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know why. I just, you didn't find the eyes on the inside of her eyes, Durbin. What are you even doing?
You
I saw her over
said you
there.
played the game.
I saw her. I was like looking around her, but I just didn't really go for the details. Sadly.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that game. Let's
If I can
see.
just go back to something you said, Hal, about the challenge being repetitive. I
Mhm.
know I've only done the first part, but I can definitely agree with that. Like I've done, I think 4 layers. They're all the same pretty much.
Yeah, it's all
Like
kind of the
it's
same
like running
basic
through
layout.
Yeah, it's like running through the same one 4 times in a row. I don't know how the other ones are designed, but I hope it's a little bit more different.
They get different, but like there's like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 different variations.
Okay.
And so like there's a different one, but then you'll end up doing that variation of that one multiple times. Really, the only reason to play the Chalice Dungeons is just to do the bosses, because some of the bosses are really interesting. Some of them are like straight up just bosses that you find in the normal game, but some of them are completely unique and new bosses that you won't find anywhere else.
And
Well,
also add a lot of context to some of the lore. Then again, like some things that you find there, and especially some bosses that add to the larger story of Yarnum.
Yeah.
Well, I just got to the 3rd boss. The first 2, like I said, the first one died in 3 hits, and yeah, the second one died in 5 hits. But the 3rd one actually started to get interesting. He actually took about a minute, and he was dealing a decent amount of damage. So I'm quite looking forward to the bosses from now on, because I'm expecting some good challenge.
Yeah, you'll get a good challenge. There's one particular Chalice dungeon. I won't say anything about it, but it's tough.
Oh, okay.
Anything else you want to say about Bloodborne?
No. Nothing that really comes to my mind right now. Like overall, the game is amazing. Like really great bosses. Maybe a bit too many deaths, but that's mostly my fault. And to be honest, like at least 50 deaths were me falling off the edges and whatnot. So
Gravity is the toughest boss.
It is. I swear to God, whenever I play any Souls game, like 20% of my deaths is just like falling off or rolling off the edge accidentally. Like the boss on top of the Kaner Castle. I think I've died only to that when you have to jump off to reach his area. I think I've died like 3 times to like slipping off that part.
How many? Just Possum is asking how many total deaths was it?
427 in total, Opossum. 427. I give or take
Oh,
maybe.
you should have left out 7 deaths.
420. But we did have a bet if I'm gonna do the game in 320 deaths. But the thing is, I went to DLC on 300 deaths. So I don't know what would have happened if I stayed in the main game. Would I have done it? But yeah, the DLC
We'll never
added
know.
like 110 deaths.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite boss?
I actually did a rating on the bosses for the DLC, but if I add the bosses from the main game, favorite boss, I think I could say my favorite boss is Orphan of Kos. Like even when you
Okay.
combine the base game and the DLC game, I think Orphan of Kos is the best boss. Like the reason, like when I play the Souls games, I like to be aggressive and I like the bosses to be aggressive with me. I don't like slow magic, like one-shotting abilities that some of the bosses tend to have. Like this one is just like a pretty much warrior against a warrior, and then in phase 2, okay, he gains a few more abilities, but it's such a fast-paced fight where the boss doesn't allow you to stop to like think about it. You just have to be on top of your game, and when you don't actually use the parry, it makes the whole fight a lot more interesting. and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's so weird. I know everybody is different, but I beat Orphan of Kos like in 1 or 2 tries, which I know is very unusual. But then it took me it took me literally 17 hours to beat Ludwig.
Ludwig. Oh,
And that has easily become my favorite boss though.
how come? Like, what was the problem that you had on Ludwig, by the way?
Well, again, I was playing on New Game Plus 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was getting just like one shot basically. So I mean, I don't know. It was just I think that one move where, well, I guess there were a couple of things. There's the one where he jumps up on the ceiling and then you have to dodge him, and I finally learned that you just watch for the 3 blood drips. And then the one I just could not get the timing down to where he like goes away and then he will like rush at you really fast.
Yeah.
I just could not get the timing to dodge for that. I died so many times to that one. And then once I got through the first phase and got to the second phase is not too bad.
Much easier. Much easier.
Yeah, that first phase is just, it's rough.
I'm actually finding a lot of the Bloodborne bosses to be like that. Like phase 1, like challenging, you're dying like 50 times. Then you get to phase 2 and you kill the boss, within 5-10 attempts at the worst. Like Orphan of Ghost is the same. Like phase 1 died so many times, and phase 2 took me maybe about, I don't know, 10 attempts, like 10 good attempts, and the boss was dead. Ludwig is the same. Phase 1, so many deaths. Phase 2, as soon as I got like maybe my 3rd attempt in stage 2, like much more easier.
I often find that my favorite bosses are the ones that take me the longest to beat. And I think it's mostly just because I learn them so well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, like when you go in and you just beat a boss your first try, you don't really learn that boss. Like you're either just kind of over leveled or you get kind of lucky. But the ones that like you really just have to just really struggle and just really learn every single move, and just know exactly what is going to happen. That is just what is so satisfying to me and what makes me love a boss.
It's like that in every game. Like I played WoW for a long time, and like I can tell you, almost every one of my bosses in that game was the boss where where we died more than hundreds of times. Like all of the bosses that you've done within, either in 1 attempt or like under 10 attempts, you barely remember at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to think, is there anything else about Bloodborne you want to say?
I have to mention like one thing which I found a little bit annoying, and that I haven't really found in other Souls games. Like you just mentioned Ludwig's charge. When he charges at you, I found that to be the only charge attack in the game which seems to be working properly, because there's quite a few other bosses, including the one called Ebrietas. I think that's how her name is. She has a charge in stage 2 that instead of that being a charge, she's pretty much going all over the place and trying to follow you during the charge. And few more bosses have a similar ability, which frustrated me so much, because I was on the edge of my seat, like, how do I avoid this? What's going on? I was just rolling left and right, just trying my luck, using 3 healing potions after every single one of them. But yeah, I don't really understand those abilities at all. The Ludwig was the only one who's done it correctly, and I'm guessing one of the reasons is because it's a DLC bosses, so they had some more times to sort out the pathing for that ability. But in the base game, yeah.
Yeah, Bloodborne, it's a great game. I love it. I think it's well, I know it's easily my favorite in the FromSoft games. Even, I mean, for me personally, it's above Sekiro, it's above Dark Souls 1, above Dark Souls 3.
Now for me, Sekiro is still number 1.
I
think. Yeah, but you know why? Sekiro only became my number 1 after maybe 3 to 4 NGs and new games.
Yeah.
And in Bloodborne, I only done it 1 time, so I'm gonna give it few more playthroughs to decide.
Yeah, I think that's
I
wise. You
could change
definitely
it.
have to go through those games multiple times to kind of learn everything. The main
Yep.
the main downside for Sekiro to me is just the lack of diversity, I guess. I mean, it is very diverse in its skills, but just having one weapon was just a little not disappointing to me, but it's cool to be able to play a game and like use a different weapon and then, be able to use a different weapon set and set of abilities and things like that.
No, I can understand that completely. That's the issue I think a lot of the people have with that game. But with me, the thing I like the most about Sekiro is how punishing it is and how much it asks of you to learn every single detail about the boss. And but once you do, it rewards you so heavily and it feels so satisfying. And it also takes a while to get to that point. I don't know. I just that game has clicked with me so much, but we will see. Like maybe in a couple of playthroughs of Bloodborne, maybe it will overtake it. But for now, Sekiro is still number one.
Cool. What else you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of. I don't know if you know about the game Crash Team Racing. Crash Team Racing Nightfield. It's the remake of Crash Team Racing from when I was a kid, so like early 2000s. It's a racing game, but so addictive. I've been playing that for the last 2 weeks, trying to improve in the online section. But I'll be honest, I feel I'm actually getting worse. I don't know how, but like I've been winning some games in my first week, and now I'm finishing sixth to eighth. Eighth is the last position.
So
Yeah.
is
Peak
this basically just like a Mario Kart clone?
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the same like Mario Kart. I'm not sure. I guess in Mario Kart you also have the adventure mode where you can choose the difficulty, right?
I don't really know. I've only played a
Okay.
tiny bit of Mario Kart. Never really
Okay.
played any of those games.
Well, this one has the adventure mode where you can choose the difficulty. By the way, on the hard difficulty, I cannot be the first race just yet. I'm still finishing eighth. But it also has the online, which is where the most fun is. You get to collect coins, then you get to buy the new vehicles, the new characters, the new paint jobs, the new stickers, the new tracks on your cars as well. It's good fun. It's a racing game, so it's not for everyone, of course. But I was a huge fan of it when I was a kid, and I love Crash Universe in general. So when I found it on discount last 2 weeks ago, I just had to buy it. It's one of those games as well which you can play for a long time as well. So
How long has it been out?
I think it came out.
Was it last year?
Yeah,
I think
June of
so.
the last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you excited for Crash 4?
I am. I'm most likely not gonna play it right on the start because there's like so many games in the next couple of months. But I will get to it, and I'm very excited. I love the remake of the first three games. That was so much fun. If this one is anywhere as close as good as they are, it should be good fun.
Is it a PlayStation only game? Crash 4?
I think it.
Or
I think it
PlayStation
is.
5?
Oh no, it's PlayStation 4 because I think the game is coming out within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, let me just Crash 4. Let me just have a quick look. Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. It's coming out. It doesn't actually say the date over here, but I think it should be coming during October. So it's it's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox One on October the 2nd. So it's what 2
Oh,
weeks?
it's coming out
2
on
weeks from now, yeah.
multi-platform then.
Yeah. But not PC sadly.
It's
Maybe
not coming out
next
on
year.
PC? Huh.
No, PS4 and Xbox One for now.
Wow, that's weird.
They've done the same thing with the Crash with the Crash remakes. Like it was out on the PS4 and Xbox, and then 1 year later they put it on the PC, and
Oh,
the same for Spyro remake as well. Like the only game that hasn't followed
I
the
hate that
trend was
stuff.
the Crash Team Racing. Yeah.
Let's see. What else you been playing?
Only one more game, so I was trying to think if I played anything else, but those two, and I've been playing a lot of Blasphemous over the last like month. I finished the game actually. It's a game similar to Hollow Knights and those kind of games, but much more serious. Much more serious when it comes to like the main point of the game. This is about committing sins, about punishments, about penance, and all that kind of religious stuff in a way. So it's quite an interesting game and very addictive. Like I started it,
Kind of a
and
2D, kind of Hollow Knight-ish. Is it a Metroidvania?
I think it is.
Like, do
But like one
you?
difference. Sorry.
I was just gonna ask, do you like get abilities that allow you to get in other areas that you weren't able to get before that?
Yes, you do. You do. You have like some sort of jumps. You have some sort of smashes that open up the new secret areas. It's very similar to Hollow Knight. I think the main difference compared to Hollow Knight for me, at least, is the fact this game has a how do I say this? The traveling is not as bad as in Hollow Knight, because that's like one thing which puts me off
Oh yeah,
Hollow Knight
you
is the
really didn't
fact you
like
have to.
that, did you?
Yeah, like I remember one stream. It was a few months ago. I spent an hour of the stream just pretty much traveling from one spot to another spot back to the first spot just to get like one item. And Blasphemous doesn't have that. It's it's much better connected. Like the areas are connected. There's much more fast traveling as well. And but the game is difficult. I have to say that the bosses are insanely hard. Some of them.
Um, this is slightly off the subject, but just going back to Hollow Knight for a minute, there is a mod that you can get that allows you to fast travel from the benches.
I've not been to that point. No, I haven't. I didn't have the mod, sadly.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
Are you playing on PC? Are you playing Hollow Knight on PC?
Yeah, it was on the PC. Yep.
Okay. So I mean, you could always. I'm pretty sure that you can just like install the mod and then you can use it in the middle of a playthrough, if you ever wanted to
really?
go back
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Like I wanted to try. I actually don't have any experience with the mods, honestly. Like Skyrim's, Souls games, no Hollow Knights. I've never tried mods. One of the reasons was I was trying to set it up on Dark Souls, and I remember there was some sort of issues like you lose parts of your save file and whatnot. I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly now, but I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I might try it for Hollow Knight because I'm stuck anyway. So
Yeah, every game is different when it comes to mods. And if you haven't ever dealt with mods, it can be a little tricky at times. I will say Hollow Knight is one of the easiest games I've ever modded. Like there's a mod manager and you literally just download it and then it just has like a list of the mods that you can use and you just literally just click on them, like just check them if you want to use them. So it's very simple to use. But yeah, it might be worth checking out.
I did like a few days ago after I finished Blasphemous. I actually said to myself, okay, now I've done this game, I should go back to Hollow Knight. I went back to it. I played it for 20 minutes, and the first thing I saw in the game was I spawned on a bench, and the boss where I had to go was about 5 minutes away. So I was like, oh my god, this is the same thing I stopped playing the game for. Then I tried the boss for 3 times. I vibed. That was like 20 minutes of just running back and forth. I was like, okay, I'm done for now again.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Hollow Knight it's a fantastic game, and I think the bosses are fantastic. I think the exploration is great, but I definitely understand your criticism when it comes to how far away some of the bosses are, how long the runs are to some of the bosses from the benches, and not having any fast. Well, I was going to say there's not. I mean, there is kind of fast travel with the what do you call them? The
Yeah, the Batmobile.
Yeah. But it's still like you have to get to that specific area, and it's a limited number of areas. But yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
I honestly have to say I really like that about Hollow Knight because I feel like I think it adds to the journey and adds to the atmosphere that you have a little bit longer ways. I think especially in the Soul series, you had a few more so with I would say with Dark Souls 2 and 3, but it's like it felt like around every corner was a bonfire, and you weren't really like, but once you were through an area you didn't really go back through it unless you were specifically looking for an item in that area, so we were just jumping back and forth. Whereas like in Dark Souls 1, for example, I felt because there the fast travel unlocks very late, and then before it was patched also only very select bonfires. So you still had to travel. And I felt like it was part of that journey that you had that travel, that you had to fight the enemies that you were fighting earlier. And yes, you could now easily beat them, but if you weren't paying attention, they would still damage you pretty significantly. And I felt reminded of that in Hollow Knight, that it's kind of like, yeah, you have to spend some time traversing the areas, but at the same time, it also added just to the fact that you have to stay vigilant and pay attention to the game. Otherwise, even enemies that you bested some time ago might cause you some issues.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think those are both good points. I don't really know. I don't really know which way I prefer. I think they both have their pros and cons. Because there is definitely that sense of just like in Dark Souls 1, it's like whenever you find a bonfire, it is an accomplishment. And it is like, it is just this amazing feeling of safety. Whereas like in the later Souls games, it's like, okay, I beat a boss, there's going to be a bonfire right here now, you know. But like, you know, you beat what is that? Is it Capra Demon in Dark Souls 1 that's on the bridge?
Yes.
And then
no, Capra Demon is down in the town, I think.
The Taurus Demon.
Taurus Demon. I always get those confused. You beat Taurus Demon in Dark Souls 1, and unless you know exactly where to go, it's tough to figure out how to get to the next bonfire. And
you can easily miss a bonfire, and then you're just walking
very
around for
easily.
hours, have one flask left, you don't know where to go, your health is low, you don't know what the enemies are.
But when you find that bonfire and when you realize that you have to literally just run straight towards that giant dragon that is literally blowing fire at you, and then you find that that ladder that you kick down, and you're like, that's the bonfire. It is the most amazing feeling in the world. And I don't know if there's really anything like that in Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2.
No, that definitely, like I think it was really like when you were noticing your Estus was getting lower and lower, and like you didn't know where a bonfire is. So, and you know, it can take a while. Like, did I miss it? Or is it around the next corner? Do I risk going around the next corner and explore? Or do I go back to refill my Estus and try it again? And I feel like that got lost a little bit in Dark Souls 2 and 3. And I'm curious to see in Demon Souls, when we get to that point, but we're curious to see in Demon Souls how true to the original they stay in that regard. At that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything because I guess that means you don't know. Okay. I won't say anything.
I don't know in how they do it in the remaster. So, or remake.
Yeah,
I don't. You noticed it from the trailer, Hal, or something.
I didn't really pay that close attention to the trailer actually. From what I saw from the trailer, it looks like it's a 1-to-1 remake, which kind of, I don't know. I have very mixed feelings on it. Like, one part of me is very glad that we have just like we are going to get just a updated version of Demon Souls. Another part of me wishes, and it's possible that they may do something like have a mode that mixes up the enemies or something. That would be really cool if they would do that. We'll get to all that stuff in just a little bit. Let's see. Is there anything else?
Can I just go back quickly to the fast travel and say I forgot to talk about it during Bloodborne. How weird it is that Bloodborne, when you find a lamp, you cannot actually teleport between lamps, and rather you have to go back to the dream. That
drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's like one thing I don't really understand why. That's just quality of life improvement. It saves you time.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Because you have to go to the Hunter's Dream, and then you have to travel from the Hunter's Dream to wherever you want to travel to. And when Aku, did you play Bloodborne when it first launched on release?
Yeah. No. It took me a little bit after that.
Okay.
But I heard about the issues.
The loading times were so bad when it first released. They were like a minute long. And there's a lot of, like, obviously every time you die, it's a loading screen. And man, it was rough. But at the same time, I think I played that game for like 28 hours straight when it first launched. And only about 5 hours were loading time, so, not too bad.
Great.
That reminds me of playing Warcraft without SSD, like back in the early 2010s. Oh man, that was like 1 or 2 minutes in between every single loading screen.
I've heard World of Warcraft has really, really long loading screens if you don't have it
Not
on an
anymore.
SSD.
I mean, with SSD, no. SSD it's quite fast.
Yeah, but if you're on a traditional
seconds.
spinning drive, I mean, there's a lot of people that still play games off of a regular hard drive. I still play a lot
Yeah,
of games off of a regular hard drive.
Well, I'm sure most of the people would continue to do the same with WoW, but they're actually changing the requirements, and starting from this new expansion, which is coming out in less than 2 months, you actually have to have the game on SSD, which is
Really?
interesting. Yeah.
Like it won't
don't-
run if you don't have it on an
Well, I don't know
SSD?
how, from a technical standpoint, how do you force that?
Yeah, how would
Like-
they even?
Yeah, I don't know, but somebody told me about it, and I seem to have read about it as well on the forum. So
I wonder
it's gonna
if
be interesting to see.
I don't mean this in a negative way, but I feel like there's a lot of people that play World of Warcraft that are not like super into technology and don't know a lot about like system requirements and that kind of stuff. And I wonder if they're just tell them that it needs to be on an SSD, and then people will finally upgrade to an SSD or something like that. But I would certainly think it would still work. Maybe you're just going to have like really long load times or something, or maybe it'll be more prone to crashing or something. I don't know. I know nothing about World of Warcraft.
It may just be them covering themselves from criticism if the load
Yeah,
times
that's
are
kind of what I
increased.
mean, right?
So it's like, oh yeah, we
We told you it
should
has
have
to be on
played
an
it.
SSD.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wait, okay, scrap that. I've just Googled it quickly, and apparently last week Blizzard has removed the requirement. So never mind.
Oh, interesting. Weird.
Yeah, I guess they had a change of heart. There's too many people that don't really have the SSDs. Yeah.
Do you guys all have SSDs? Are you all running at least your main drive off of an SSD?
Yep. I have 2 of them. One with 128 where I have Windows and some of the things, and then one with 256 where I have my most important games.
What are your most important games?
WoW. Well, it used to be WoW, and pretty much things on the Blizzard launcher, because I would like to keep some of the Steam games, but then again, Steam has its own way of keeping the game, so I have to keep it on the hard disk, because I don't have that much space to keep all of them on the SSD.
Wait, are you saying? I mean, you can make like a custom directory in Steam and put it on the SSD.
Really?
Yeah, I do that.
You had to have it in the Steam folder.
You do, but you can make a custom directory that is just basically another Steam folder that is on another drive. So when you go into Steam, let me see. If you go to Steam and go to install a game,
Okay.
and then it'll say choose location, you just have a drop down box, and then you can choose any drive that you have, and if you don't have the Steam library on that drive, it'll just say create new Steam library on drive
I see
H
now.
or drive
So it's not
D or
going to
something
give
like
me any issues, right?
that.
Like with regards
Nope.
to, I don't know.
Shouldn't.
You can even even download stuff onto like an external hard drive. You can actually run a lot of Steam games on an external hard drive as long as they're not like super newer games. But you can just download stuff on an old external hard drive and then just move it over to an SSD if you want to, without even re-downloading it.
Okay.
I literally
good.
I have
Thank
an 8 terabyte hard drive that I've just downloaded like every single game to. And then if it's one that I'm gonna play like a lot of, I'll just move it over to an SSD.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking to a friend. I think it was actually last night about that same topic, and I come to realize I have an SSD that's 11-year-old. That's more like one terabyte, and that has like the low, like very much almost the lowest possible write and the read speeds.
Wait, you have
I
a
need to
1
replace it
terabyte
eventually.
11-year-old SSD?
Yes.
That must have cost a fortune 11 years ago.
I don't know. It's I think 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the Christmas of 2009 is when I bought like the whole PC, which was which also included the hard disk, and it's been like everything changed, like every single like graphic card, CPU, everything changed, but the HD has stayed the same all the time. When
Wait,
it comes to the
it's
cost,
a
I
hard drive or an
actually
SSD?
hard drive.
Oh, I thought you were
Or
saying
did I say?
a 1
Oh,
terabyte
sorry.
SSD that was 11 years
No.
old. I was like, that must
Sorry,
have cost
I meant
about
hard drive.
$5,000 back then.
Stole it from
No.
NASA.
The only way I could have got it back then is by stealing it, man.
Yeah.
So no, it was.
Oh, so you stole it then? You heard it here.
Yeah.
Some government official is still being blamed for losing the hard drive.
Yeah, it's crazy how cheap storage is getting. You can get like you can get a 1 terabyte SSD now for easily under $100.
Really? I think the one I bought for 256 was about 60, 70 maybe.
How long ago was that?
That 2 years, maybe 3 maximum, something
Yeah,
like that.
they've dropped like crazy. I was looking at
Oh.
getting the NVMe drive, which is, it looks like a stick of RAM, and it's even faster than the actual SSDs. It plugs directly into your PCI Express slot on the motherboard, and you can get a 1 terabyte NVMe drive for about $100 now.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, storage is crazy cheap.
As much as storage dropped, the graphic cards increased, and vice versa.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about those graphics cards. Let's move on.
If you
Let's
can
first
buy
of all
them.
let's talk about the games that are coming out. We have Crysis Remastered is launching for PC, PS4, and Xbox One today. That also came out on the Switch a few weeks ago. Earth Defense Force 5. I thought this game was already out. Is this like a different version of this game? Earth Defense Force 5 for PS4 launches today. Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
A friend of mine is quite excited about that one.
They got you. They got you.
I had to get it. I'm afraid I'll miss it. Super Mario 3D All-Stars launches today. WWE 2K Battlegrounds launches today for PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. The co-op update for Untitled Goose Game launches on the 23rd. Any of you guys play Untitled Goose Game?
No.
Sadly not. No.
I want to check it out. I don't know anything about it, but I just heard so many people saying it was really good.
It's just fun, honestly. I was looking at my friend streaming that a few months ago. It was just, pure laugh all the time.
Yeah.
Just funny game.
Serious Sam 4 launches on the 24th. I've never played a Serious Sam game, but I've heard that they're pretty good if you like first-person shooters. That one is kind of a long-awaited. The Serious Sam series has been around for a very long time. I'm kind of curious to check that out. We have Tennis World Tour is launching on the 24th, and then finishing up on the 25th, we have Mafia Definitive Edition launching for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, anybody gonna pick up Mafia?
Not straight away, but I am planning.
Yeah, I think
Is there any chance that it ends up on Game Pass?
I mean, there's always a chance.
There's always a chance, right?
I'm going to say that since the other ones are not on Game Pass, probably not. Not anytime soon. Maybe like in the future. Who's publishing that? Probably depends on the publisher too. But yeah, I would imagine it'll probably be a while, if at all, if that ends up on Game Pass. I think it's only $40. If that makes you feel any better.
Published by 2K Games.
Oh yeah, it's not going to end up on Game Pass. Not for a long time then.
Okay, 2K.
Check out, do you ever get stuff off like Green Man Gaming or some of those other key sellers?
Yeah, but
instant
key
gaming
sellers
for
I'm
me.
always a little iffy with.
I was like that as well, Arco.
Yeah.
But then 1 game, 2 game, 3 games, no issues. 5 games, no issues. 10 games. I've
Well,
never
for
had
me,
a
it's
single issue.
not even the that, but I feel like also like it kind of circumvents revenue from the developers.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much you want to look into this, but there are third-party sites that are 100% legitimate. Green Man Gaming is. CD Keys is another one. I think Instant Gaming is, but then there's a lot that are like in that gray zone where it's like we don't really know where these keys came from. I've seen like some that like they literally give you like a picture of the code. Like this is super shady. But yeah, Green Man Gaming, CD Keys, Instant Gaming, those are all definitely legitimate third party sellers.
I mean, for now, I'm busy with Wasteland 3 anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I also win in the lottery, then I'll just buy 2K.
2,000? Wait, you're gonna get 2,000 games?
No, 2,000 Mafia definitive editions.
And just give them out to everyone. All right. It has been a week in news. I guess the PS5 is the first thing that we'll talk about.
Okay.
Did you guys watch the showcase? Did you guys see any of
I
this?
actually did.
Did you?
Watch
Nice.
it. Yeah, I did do a showcase.
Did you get a chance to see any of it, Durbin?
Yeah, I've seen the whole one. Quite enjoyed it.
So, let's just run through everything that they announced here. I guess let's start with the big thing, and that's the price and date, and then we'll run through the games that they announced. So, official dates are November 12th for US. Oh boy, I've got to find it. It was kind of weird. It's for
12 US and 19 for Europe, I think it was.
Yeah, US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea are getting it on the 12th. And then 19th for UK and Europe. And I guess the rest of the world. They were like, everyone else. Sorry, Europe. Gets it on the 19th. Official price is $499 US dollars. 499 euros for the disc version and $399 for the discless version. Let's just talk about that. What did that surprise you guys? Do you think that was good, bad? What do you think?
The release date surprised me a little bit because I was expecting it late December. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I was expecting it like just before Christmas, I think. So this is a little bit surprising for me.
This is probably weird for Europeans because you guys don't have Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving is late November for us, and that's when Black Friday happens. That's when just everybody makes their money in sales. So yeah, that stuff usually drops in November. I know Black Friday is becoming a much bigger thing worldwide, but traditionally that was more of a US thing.
The Xbox comes also out on the 12th,
Xbox comes out November 10th, so it's coming out 2 days before. Yep.
So I wonder really if the original release date was the 19th, but that because of Xbox announcement that they're like, oh, we can at least push the US ones a week earlier, and then the rest we have worldwide. So until as soon as we have the supply chain set up.
Yeah, it's weird because 2 days is not really that big of a difference. You'd think that they would have just either like bumped it up like a day before Xbox or like the same day or something. I don't know. To me, like any date after Xbox is kind of not really a failure, but it's just like I don't know
if it really matters that much.
I don't know if it does either, because most people are going to pre-order these anyway that are going to get them. I doubt there's going to be many people that are going to like actually go and buy it wait in
the line for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you really want the the console on launch, you already pre-order it or pre-order it up until then, and then it really doesn't matter if it's like a week early or not. And I think also at this point, people kind of have made up their mind whether or not they get both consoles or just one console, especially now that the prices are out. It's like, yeah, I think people now kind of know what they want and what they want first, and irregardless of whether or not the console comes out a little bit earlier or not.
So, what do you guys think about the price? Are you happy with it?
I mean,
Content
it's
with
numbers, and that's usually a good start for a price. That,
Yeah.
but aside from that, I think we talked about that in an earlier episode of the podcast. I'm a little bit surprised that the difference between the disc version and the discless version is a full $100. I didn't expect it to be that much. I expected more like a $50 difference, but I wonder also if they may even bump that up because of the Xbox S being so cheap. So to have not as big of a difference there. But I think it's interesting that you can get the discless version now for $399, which is, I think, a pretty good price for a new console. I mean, I'm really,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's kind of like it is in the expected range.
What do you think, Durbin?
I am not surprised by the price one bit. That's what I was expecting, honestly. So I didn't really give too much thought about the price. I'll be honest with you.
So, a couple of things that I think are interesting. I think a lot of people are going to get that digital only version,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're going to be disappointed. And
Why?
I think the reason why is because that thing only has 800, I think it's 825 gigabytes of storage on it. And so I was curious about how this worked, and I'm still not positive that this is right, but if I'm understanding it right, you can hook up an external hard drive, but you can only play PS4 games on the external hard drive. PS5 games can only run on the internal hard drive. So I found that really interesting. I guess if there's anything I'm disappointed about the PS5, it is that it's only 825 gigabytes, because that's not a lot of storage when we're looking at games that are pushing 200 gigabytes. You know, you'll get like 3 games on there.
Well, but not every game is 200 gigabytes.
Not every game is
Yeah,
going to
most
be
of-
that, of course.
It's
But
usually the big games. Most of the games I tend to play.
Well,
are,
yeah,
like,
but how many of
under
the big
40,
games do you play at once?
0.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So I don't know if that's really that big.
It's just a
issue, but I
convenience
get the
thing
point.
for me. I just like having a big hard drive. I personally, I would be willing to put up with 30-second load time versus 1 or 2 second load time just to be able to have all my games on one hard drive. I hope that at some point they will just let people put stuff on an external hard drive. They do have proprietary hard drives that they're going to allow you to upgrade or upgrade the storage on, but there's been zero mention on pricing. Everybody's expecting them to be very expensive because they're brand new format that I don't even know if it's available to the public for like PCs to use these particular types of hard drives. And they're proprietary. Sony owns this plug or whatever it is that you use to upgrade it. So I'm a little disappointed with that. But as far as the pricing goes, I think it's good. I really, really had hoped that Sony would be really bold and go $350 and $450. I think that would have just like really, really stuck it to Xbox and been like, hey, you can get top of the line PS5 for cheaper than the Xbox Series X. But they didn't do that. They went with the same price, which I think is fine. I think the bigger issue is the lack of games. There is, if I'm looking at it right, there is literally one game that is a true PS5 exclusive, and that is an 11-year-old remake of Demon Souls.
What about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is on PS4. It's a cross-gen
okay.
title. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Spider-Man is going to be on PS4 and PS5. Godfall is going to be on PC and PS5. Even Horizon, the sequel to Horizon, is going to be a cross-gen title as well. And this is just very strange that they went back on this, because they were coming out. Sony was coming out and saying that, hey, we are a generation company. We don't want to do cross-gen and that kind of stuff. We want to push things forward. And they really went back on this because Spider-Man's coming out on PS4. Horizon's coming out on PS4. With all that being said, like, I'm thrilled that people are going to be able to play these games on PS4. That's great. I'm just looking at this as, like, from a business perspective. This is just kind of a weird, I don't know, shift in what they're doing.
I wonder if it has to do with the fact that, I mean, the exclusives lineup hasn't been too great anyway. Like, even if you add Miles Morales, which we still don't quite know how big the game is, if it's really just like a bigger DLC in the end, or like a full on Spider-Man game. So it's like, I feel like, I wonder if they were like, we won't really convince the masses with this anyway, so might as well go both gen and get the sales on both consoles, since the people who want to get a PS5 immediately, they will get it anyway, but we probably won't draw too many people just with those exclusive titles, so might as well make them available for both generations, get the money on both generations.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I feel like one of the things that pushed people to buy a PS4 so much was the true exclusives. And, you know, you couldn't play PS3 games on your PS4. Like, there was no backwards compatibility with this. So it was, they had to really push exclusives to give you a reason to get a PS5. And I don't know. There's not much compelling reason to get a PS5 right now, I don't think.
Well, I will say one of the announcements that was interesting was the PS Plus collection.
Yeah, so let's get into the actual event. Let's run through everything. So I will say with everything I just said, I was very, very impressed with the games that they showed off here. So they started out I say I was very impressed. They had some weird messaging, though. They started out showing with a title coming up and saying, this game is being emulated on a PC to match PS5 settings or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
It was very strange. And what they revealed was Final Fantasy 16. I was kind of shocked that we got Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some talks over the last few days about that potential being announced, though.
There were some rumors.
Sort of expecting.
I mean, there's always rumors. I feel like, you know, we've been hearing ever since 15 was over. Like, yeah.
Yeah, true. But 15 came out a while ago, so it was time for the new one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's. I think it's one of those years that we know there will also be a Final Fantasy 17. So if I now in a year say, well, maybe they show Final Fantasy 17, if it's not coming true, nobody pays attention. But if it comes true, everyone says, oh yeah, Akko said Final Fantasy 17.
The leaks were right.
The leaks were right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very surprised at that. I was in the beginning, I wasn't sure what game we're looking at. Like, at first I thought, that looks very Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Is it maybe a DLC to 15, like a weird kind of medieval DLC? Then there was like, oh, maybe it's something completely different, like a different IP. But then obviously then the reveal, and obviously with some of the imaging, it became a little more clear that we are definitely talking about a Final Fantasy game. And I have to say, I thought it looked great. I mean, it's not necessarily something I go 100% all in just based on a cinematic trailer. But what I saw looked exciting and
Looks
a
really,
dark
really
fantasy.
good.
Yeah, kind of a dark fantasy style of Final Fantasy. Seems to be an interesting thing. The only thing that I didn't like was the haircuts.
Yeah, haircuts are horrible.
Yeah, so this is being directed by, well, let me back up. It's being produced by it's being produced by the director of Final Fantasy XIV that is credited with kind of saving Final Fantasy XIV. He was the one that was kind of in charge of remaking Final Fantasy XIV when it was such a mess. And it's being directed by, I believe, his assistant, who has also worked on Final Fantasy XIV. So lots of Final Fantasy XIV people are coming over to work on this. Now, that could worry me a little bit because Final Fantasy XIV was a MMO. This is a single player. So I hope that they're not going to put like too many MMO type.
Do we know that it's a single player?
They did confirm it is a single player. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they're, I don't think that they will, but I hope that there's not going to be like, just a ton of fetch quests and things that you would see in an MMO. I know a lot of people are excited about the kind of return to a fantasy, more of a dark fantasy, compared to more of the science fiction fantasy, kind of futuristic fantasy that we've been getting. I don't really mind either way. Like I like the science fiction fantasy a lot, but I also really like the look of this. The combat is real time. It looks like it's kind of maybe a progression of the Final Fantasy 15 type combat system, which I know some people were not super hot on. I liked it, but I didn't love Final Fantasy 15 combat. And
What do you think? How many parts do we get for this?
One.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, honest question. Do you think there is a possibility that we only get a Final Fantasy 16 Part 1?
I think there is a
No.
possibility. When they announced Final Fantasy VII, they didn't say it was Final Fantasy VII Part 1. They just said Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And they go down the Call of Duty route where they develop two games kind of simultaneously and then you ship out the parts.
I don't think it will be that. I think it's going to be one complete game. With that being said, it wouldn't surprise me because Square Enix has said many times that they like the episodic format. They push the episodic format on a lot of games. I don't know. I really hope that they don't do that. Another thing that I was going to say, I am glad that everything that we saw in the game looked like it was not some super high-end, unrealistic game that we were, gonna obviously get a downgrade. Like, it looked good, but it didn't look just mind-blowingly good, which I think is a good thing, because if I saw something that was like very, very high-end, super ambitious, then I would just be like, yeah, it's not gonna look like that when we get it. This looked realistic, like, kind of like Final Fantasy 15. I would say it looked pretty much, in terms of graphic fidelity, I think it looked about like Final Fantasy 15. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Final Fantasy 15 looked insanely good. Go ahead, Durbin.
I was kind of hoping when it comes to character design and all that kind of stuff that they might go back to the past a little bit and do something more similar to Final Fantasy 9, because ever since Final Fantasy 9 we've been seeing a lot more realistic characters and not really the fantasy types it was back then, just goofy. But we are going for the serious one again.
I honestly am I hope that the characters would be less edgelord and and more like action, like are they to be taken seriously? Because I have a hard time. Like I had a hard time in Final Fantasy 15 from the little bit that I watched. Like, they very much all felt like caricatures, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a more realistic graphics looks, that's certainly for sure. But I feel like I have to see more of Final Fantasy 16 and the characters if I really feel like I can get into those characters.
Yeah. I don't really mind, but I totally understand the criticism, and I don't really mind either way. I guess my biggest concern about this game is just when it's going to be coming out. They didn't put any dates on it. Square Enix has been known to announce things a little early sometimes. But again, what they showed, I feel like even though they didn't just show off like a straight gameplay segment, I feel like a lot of what we were seeing was gameplay. It was just like a bunch of quick cuts. And it looked very far into development. It didn't look like it was some super early version of a game. So if I
could see
had
it coming out late next year, or the year afterwards.
I was gonna say 2022. I think that would
2022.
yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You think it'll be coming out sooner?
I would expect 2021, maybe the third quarter at least.
I think if they thought they had any chance of putting it out in 2021, they would put 2021 in the trailer. But they didn't put any dates here, so I think this is probably at least a couple of years out. I mean, let's not forget they announced Final Fantasy VII in 2015, and it came out in 2020. Part 1
Took them
came
a
out.
while.
They announced Final Fantasy 15 in, someone in chat might have to help me. I think it was like 2008 or something like that. 2006. That game took forever. So yeah. Anyway, whenever it comes out, it'll come out maybe in some form on the PS6. But yeah, I was still very shocked and surprised that that they showed that and that they had that ready to show. Moving on from there, they showed a gameplay segment of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Looks like Spider-Man to me. I like Spider-Man. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but I'm excited to play this. It's cool that you can play it on PS4. They didn't say this in the going back to Final Fantasy 16 real quick. This was weird again because they had the title card come up and they said down at the very bottom an asterisk said also available on PC. They then went on to clarify that they are not saying whether it's coming to PC or not. This was very confusing. This happened a couple of times in the showcase, and IGN had an article. I should have had this open, but IGN had an article about this saying that Square Enix asked IGN to not mention that it was coming to PC and to retract that statement, and they said it was an error in the slide, and that they are not releasing any information about other platforms that it may or may not be coming to. So I thought that was very weird. Not to mention the thing at the very first, like I said, that they put up that weird thing saying that it was running on a PC emulating the PS5 experience or whatever.
I wonder if that one was cobbled together pretty recently as a response to the Xbox news, and that it was actually planned to be part of a later event.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everything this year has just been kind of thrown together at the last minute.
True.
So yeah, they showed off Spider-Man. That looks good. Then they dropped another bomb on us and showed off Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah.
Which was the long rumored, long leaked. I keep saying Harry Potter game, but it's not a Harry Potter game. This takes place in the late 1800s, they said. This game was first leaked in a kind of a weird trailer that somebody had just taken on their phone in 2018, I believe it was. And I thought this looked really good. What did you guys think?
Yeah,
Looked amazing.
Looked pretty decent. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on if if you're down with Harry Potter, if you like Harry Potter. If you don't like Harry Potter, this probably doesn't appeal to you. I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, but I do enjoy the game, the movies, and I think
Same.
the world and I think the idea of a game like this, it's kind of mind blowing to me that they haven't ever done this, like a full, kind of open world RPG where you create your own character and go through Hogwarts and explore that world. I'm really surprised that they haven't ever done that. Another interesting note is that it is cross everything. It's coming out on PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox. It's coming out on pretty much everything. They also said that that'll be out in 2021. Didn't give a specific date. They showed off a gameplay segment from Akko's favorite game, Call of Duty.
More Reagan.
And
okay, here I have a question for you as a Call of Duty expert. Why, if you're chasing a plane on a car, why do you need a toy car to chase the plane?
Because it's Call of Duty, man.
Why is it supposed to be cooler to then drive the toy car than an actual car?
You got to have that torque.
And how do you remote control that pretty much in what is it, the 70s, the 80s?
They had RC cars back then, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, look, that thing was like...
this is the
great.
U.S. military. We put a man on the moon in 1969, Akko.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I commented on the exact same thing when I was watching it. I was like, what are they doing here?
Is that Home Alone? Is that Home Alone USA edition?
Oh, never change, Call of Duty. Never change. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games.
Then they threw marbles through on the feet of the Russians, and they all slipped and broke their necks.
I think you already know if you're gonna like this game or not. I am 1000% down for this. I live for the silliness and the over the top that is Call of Duty. So yeah, I'm excited for that. They then showed off a trailer for Resident Evil 8 Village. This game looks really good to me. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about it. I don't really want to know anything else about it. I just want to play it. I was a little disappointed.
It's not gonna take too long to release.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was a little disappointed they didn't give us an actual date. I don't think they even gave us like a Q1 or Q2 or anything like that. I was expecting them to give us like a January 22nd or something like that. So hopefully that game comes out sooner rather than later. But looks good. Very excited about it.
I, as a horror game aficionado, look forward to see you guys play
it. They showed off Oddworld, Soulstorm.
I'm actually excited about that one.
I'm very mixed. Have you ever played an Oddworld game, Derb?
When I was a kid, but that was such a long time ago, and I never actually finished it. It was one of those games as a kid you play for like a few hours here and there, but you never finish it. But I just remember liking it, so because of that, I'm excited for this one, for this remake. I
have never played one. I've always been a little interested in them. I think I've got a couple of them, at least one on PS Plus that I got. This one looks like it could be really good. It also looks like it could go either way. Like it could be really, really good, or it could just be like okay. I don't really know anything about it.
I think it's gonna be like the Destroy All Humans. It's gonna be good fun, but I'm not expecting anything like game breaking from that one.
Yeah.
Just some good fun for a couple of hours here and there, and that's it.
They showed off a weird next gen Five Nights at Freddy's with ray tracing. All right, let's move on. Yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten into Five Nights at Freddy's. They showed off another trailer for Deathloop. I'm very excited for Deathloop.
I still have no idea what's going on in this game. I mean, it looks all very stylish, but like I have no idea.
So yeah, I think everybody's a little confused on how this game works. My understanding is that you have a certain amount of time to kill 8 targets. You are stuck in a time loop, and you have to kill these 8 You have to assassinate these 8 targets before your time runs out, and if you don't, then the loop restarts. And then there's also like this weird kind of, I don't know if it's like a Dark Souls kind of invasion. It looks kind of like a Dark Souls invasion mechanic where someone else can invade your world and like take out the targets before you. It sounds really cool in theory.
The other person was trying to take you out before you can take out the target.
That may be it as well. I'm a little confused. I think everybody's a little confused on this, not really sure how it's going to work. It sounds like it could be really cool. Either way, I do hope that you can turn that off. Like if you just want to play purely, alone in single player. It's like I'm assuming you guys had this experience with Dark Souls. Like everyone's first experience with a Dark Souls invasion is like, I don't want this. Why are they in my game?
Yeah.
I have 50,000 souls. I'm just trying to get back to the bonfire. But, at the same time, like, I love the Dark Souls invasion mechanic. I think it's a really cool thing.
Will one of the targets be Reagan?
Reagan? Who knows? I don't know if you could do that in a video game.
I mean, you could do that if you have good lawyers.
Yeah. I don't know how comfortable I would be playing that. That would be a little weird.
Well, okay, I won't further comment on that. Why it's weird to kill an American president but not any other president when you kill all the other presidents in Call of Duty, all of them.
I mean, I don't know if there's ever been like a real life world leader that you've killed. I don't think there has. I mean,
we have to talk to reality.
It's debatable. There was a pretty sensitive mission in the last Call of Duty that you played that was like a real world battle that took place between the U.S. and I think it was Russian forces at one time, but instead of like they turned it around and like made the US look really good. And it was like it's not how that it played out. It's kind of weird. Anyway, let's not get into that. They then showed off a very meaty trailer for Demon Souls. They just showed up like a straight up gameplay trailer for Demon Souls Remake, and it looks good. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
Looks really good.
It looks really good.
I mean, visually it looks stunning. Then I really also like how they did the trailer, that they didn't do, like, there was not much pomp. There was just like, hey, here's the intro. Here's like the first section of the game, really. Let's just follow this guy and see how it looks. And it looks fantastic. And if this is how the rest of the game looks, you obviously later saw a few snippets of the later parts of the game.
I was listening to another podcast, I believe it was the Min-Max show, and they said that they said this is what they promised Dark Souls 2 was going to look like. So we finally have gotten to Dark Souls 2 levels of graphics. Yeah, looks really good though. That they did later confirm that this the Demon Souls will be a launch title. Again, it's basically like the only exclusive PS5 launch title that there will be.
That game was the reason I'm considering pre-ordering.
Same for me, and it's bizarre that an 11-year-old video game is selling us a PS5.
Well, in my defense, I've never played it. You did, I think, so it's a new game to me.
They showed off a special edition of Devil May Cry 5 that has some graphical and fidelity upgrades that'll be coming out. They showed off Fortnite. Fortnite's coming to PS5.
That was a shocker.
Yeah,
I know.
Nobody expected that.
Could not believe that. They then showed off, this is what Akko was talking about a little earlier, so they showed off the PlayStation Plus collection that they're calling it. And I haven't looked more into this, but my understanding is that this is just included with PS Plus, that this is not increasing the
Yes.
price of it or anything. I think
No,
it is.
as far as I know, it's if you have PS Plus on the PS5,
Yeah,
you have
PS5
this
only.
collection of games. It's like a kind of Game Pass light answer from PlayStation. And I have to say, the games that they added, I mean, hard to argue against those games, right?
Yes and no. I guess the thing is, like, if you've never had a PlayStation before, this is like insane. Like, this is, you get access to, it looks like Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, God of War I think was in there, Horizon, like all of the PlayStation hits. I guess the only problem is for someone like me that I buy a PlayStation literally only for the exclusives. I think I've played just about every one of these games already, so it doesn't seem super compelling to me.
So just hear the list that they confirmed.
Okay,
Apparently,
let's hear it.
It's God of War, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Arkham Knight, Last Guardian, Last of Us Remastered, Persona 5, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, Fallout 4, Ratchet and Clank, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, and Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, I've literally played every single one of those games.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, we are also insane.
Yeah. Again, like if you've never had a PlayStation before, or like maybe you haven't had a PlayStation since PlayStation 3, this is insanely good. To just be included with PS Plus, and obviously they're going to add on to this collection. This is just their starting lineup.
Exactly.
I've done 4 of these only.
See?
Yeah, for Durbin, it's going to be fantastic. For other people that are just getting into it, it's going to be fantastic. I'm glad that they're.
I also think there are just games that even like even I, who has had a PlayStation and played a lot of on the PlayStation, like I have I have most of them, but certainly not all of them. And now that they are free, so to speak, since I already am having PS Plus anyway, well, then I would maybe check out Final Fantasy 15. Never played it.
Yeah.
And I get the point that a lot of them.
I think that's on Game Pass, though.
It was just an example, okay? I like the idea, okay?
No, I'm not hating on this idea at all. I'm very glad that they are doing this, and I think that this is a step in the right direction. And I hope that they just increase the number of games and the deals that they make, because I think they have to do this. Like, Game Pass is just destroying them.
And I think what positively surprised me about that was that, for one, it was not just PlayStation exclusives from the PS4 generation, right? So you would have thought that maybe the first step is just having all the PlayStation exclusives on there. No, but there were some. Those are, like, if we talked about the games of the generation for a few weeks, like, you could almost name any of these and be like, yeah, that was at least one of the big games of the last gaming generation. And that the starting lineup is not just a couple of big games and then lots of small games, or just PlayStation exclusive games, but just a strong lineup of AAA games to start off, I think, is a good move.
You know what would be crazy if they could do this? I'm assuming. Oh, this is a good question, actually, that I don't know. I'm assuming that they're going to keep doing the free, PlayStation games every month, but they're not going to have any PS5 games to give you. So are they just going to give you?
On the start.
Well, that's the thing. Are they going to give you just PS4 games?
It's a good question. I haven't thought about
them
it.
On the collection, so.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
I'm curious.
Going to give you a currency, and then by the time they have plenty of the games to choose from, you will be able to choose the game you want to take.
Or you won't have a game of the month at all on the PS4, and then just have the collection that slowly expands.
Just the collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like the Humble Trove when you are subscribed to the Humble Bundle, that you then also have the constant access to those games.
Depending on how good that collection is, it could be like a really good deal, or it could just be like an okay deal.
Sure.
Yeah,
but then again, like we talked about with Game Pass, if you're paying $15 a month, so that's not so much money in the year. So if you get like 3-4 games already like through that, that's like AAA games. If we're talking about the same caliber of games that we see here, it's not that bad of a deal. It's still then worth it. Plus, obviously, you already have the benefit of having online access through that anyway.
for sure. If I had to guess, I would guess that they would just keep giving you PS4 games, because they also, one of the things which, again, like, this showcase was great, but I just don't know why they didn't say some of these other things. They later confirmed that 99% of PS4 games will be backwards compatible with the PS5. So that's great news. So I'm going to guess that they will just keep doing PS Plus monthly games, and they'll just be PS4 games that will work on the PS5.
Probably, yeah.
And then at some point, I would think they would start doing PS5 games, but obviously it's going to take them a while to, start building
probably
up.
At least around a year.
Right.
I mean, they since we're on that topic, I think it's now also confirmed that PS3, 2, and 1 games won't be compatible.
They finally confirmed that. Yeah, I think most people, myself included, were just kind of expecting that. I think earlier this year we were thinking like maybe there might be a chance that PS1, 2, and 3 games might do some magic to make them run, or maybe like certain games could run. But as time went on, it was very clear that they were not going to do that. It really is too bad that they just couldn't get that to work. I'm sure that they tried. I feel like they could if they really wanted to, but it would just be a lot of work, and probably way more work than they would want to put into it. And I don't know, they would probably they would probably have to have some additional hardware or something like that, stronger CPU or something like that, especially for the PS3 games. So yeah, that's too bad. If that thing would have run PS1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 games, it would have sold like crazy. It's still going to sell like crazy. But
if they then would add a deal to the PlayStation Plus collection, like even if it's just PS1 and 2 games are all in there, and then PS3 upwards, or like a collection of those games were in there. Okay, now you have like a big retro library plus some of the later AAA games in there. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
I guess that was not a good idea.
We lost Durbin. Oh, Durbin.
It's back.
I'm back. Hello?
But without cam. Hello?
We can hear you. We can't see you. There we go.
Oh, sorry. My Discord crashed for a moment for some reason. That's
Darn Discord. Yeah. I kind of lost my train of thought. We were mostly just talking about backwards compatibility. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Another weird thing is I don't think they really have said anything about what is it called? PlayStation Now? Is that the streaming service that they have?
I don't think said anything about that, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they've said anything about that either. I'm really surprised that they don't push that more, because that would be a way that they could do PS1, 2, and 3 games through streaming, and especially with xCloud, Microsoft's xCloud being such a big thing. But Sony's never really been very much into the streaming stuff, so I don't know. It's weird. Rounding out the showcase, they showed a quick teaser for God of War Ragnarok. Is that what they're calling this?
Yep.
It's going to be the next God of War.
Exciting.
It's going to be the next God of War game, which we knew was coming. I just was not expecting it to be this soon. They They put a date on here. They said 2021. I'm a bit skeptical of that. I have a feeling that they're probably shooting for like late next year. I imagine that's going to be delayed. All of these things always get delayed. Just prepare for it to be delayed. So I'm just expecting that game to come out 2022, maybe like early 2022.
Quite popular these days to just keep delaying the game. So yeah.
Yeah, every big game gets delayed now.
I'm the positive one for once, and I say it will come out in 2021 because I don't quite understand why there is such skepticism about like, oh, already a new God of War. It's been a few years, and they probably
2018.
Yeah. So then it's 3 years since their last game, and the last game they clearly ended already with the intention of having a sequel to that. So they probably started pretty much immediately with that, since the game also sold like crazy. So I mean, obviously that's not the longest time in between games. I get that, but I don't think that's a crazy time either. 3 years.
Plan in chat is saying that they'll have to rename it for Germany. Why is that? Is Ragnarok like? Is there no translation for Ragnarok or something, or is it a weird translation?
I don't know why. I wouldn't know why they have to do it. They did give Thor Ragnarok a different name, but I'm not sure why there is a need for that. Maybe it's some legal stuff. I don't know.
What was Thor Ragnarok called, or what does it translate to?
I think something like. Ooh, let me check.
Let's see. While you're looking up that, I'm just looking to see if there's anything.
Reckoning.
Yeah.
Day of Reckoning. So they called it Thor Day of Reckoning.
But Day of Reckoning is pretty much like Ragnarok. So
yeah.
Interesting. Let's see. I think that is pretty much all that they wrapped up. So they wrapped up the showcase. Again, it's weird why they just didn't mention anything about some of these things in the showcase. They didn't mention pre-orders at all. And everybody was just assuming that, like they were going to tell us when these things were going to be able to be pre-ordered. And they did go on to say later in a tweet that, hey, these things will be available to pre-order the next day. And that did not happen. This was a just total fiasco is the best way that I can describe it. So I think it was Walmart was the first to just put up a tweet saying PS5 pre-orders are available now. And then all these other retailers started saying that pre-orders were available. Best Buy. I don't think Amazon ever actually put up like an actual pre-order page that I could find. Target here in the US, I'm just mentioning these are all US brands, but I'm sure it was the same for other world brands. But it was a total mess. Nobody knew when these things were really going live. Nobody knew really where or when to get one. I was searching around forever trying to find a site that I wanted to just get one from Amazon, but I literally never could even find the actual page for the PS5 on Amazon to pre-order it. I found the order page on Best Buy a bunch of times, but the site just kept crashing over and over. Sometimes I would be able to add the PS5 to my cart, but then whenever I tried to hit checkout, like it just would not work. Sometimes it would just give me an error saying like, please try again later. First of all, let me back up. I did get one pre-ordered, finally. Got one pre-ordered through Best Buy. It took me, I think, literally until like 1 a.m. that night, just refreshing the page until it was available. But what a mess that they had with this. And I just don't know what in the world they were thinking. I don't know if there's like any one person to blame for this, or if it's just like the retailers just, maybe they weren't really ready for this, but they also like had a page ready and they were like, oh, just put it up. We just need to start pre-ordering. They announced
I
it.
mean, they probably got a heads up from Sony, but I would assume some communication, especially with Walmart, then didn't really work. And after Walmart then broke the barrier, everyone else went, okay, if Walmart does it, we do it as well. And then, yeah, they just shadow dropped it on us.
It was a disaster, though. And it's frustrating because Sony said like months ago, they were like, hey, we're not just gonna just all of a sudden let the pre-orders happen for this. We're gonna give you time.
Maybe we have to watch that again. It was just like with a wink.
And then there was
that. Do that.
There was that whole weird thing that Sony sent out this form for us to fill out. I think it was only in the US.
Oh, yeah.
That it was like, if you want a chance to pre-order it, just fill this out. We'll send you the information. And like only a few people that I've seen on the internet actually got a note about that, able to actually pre-order through them. I never saw anything, despite filling that form out. It was just a mess. So I don't know. Did anyone in chat try to get one? Did you guys try to order one or anything?
No, I just checked on one of the German retailers, and I could have pre-ordered it as pretty much like I checked a couple of hours after the event, and but I don't intend to pre-order. Don't have the money, and even if I had to, I wouldn't pre-order it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to actually, and I found a website, Croatian website. It was going for 60 euros on discount, and I was like, wait, this is a good deal. You can even pay, I think, throughout 2 years. I was going to give myself a day or two to think about it. And when I checked it right now in the start of your stream, Hal, well, it's been sold out. So there it goes. So it's not going to happen.
I'm sure that they will open up pre-orders. I would think they would open up pre-orders again at some point. They will.
I hope so, yeah.
They will have another round of pre-orders.
I'm just hoping it's gonna have the discount. That's the thing.
Yeah, Sony had said that they were wanting to ship, I think it was like 11 million units this year, which is a lot of units. So if that's true, then I feel like it should be pretty easy to get one. I can't imagine there's that many people pre-ordering. But I don't know, because apparently
the demand was clearly there.
Apparently, I don't know anything about pre-ordering, because I also thought it was going to be super easy to get the new graphics card, the new RTX 3080.
How did that go?
And that was even worse than the PS5. So, okay, so here's what happened with the RTX 3080. I've been needing to upgrade my graphics card for a while, and these cards were announced. Looks great. Reviews are great. They're expensive, but they're not as expensive as like people were thinking that they were going to be. So it seems like a great deal. Nvidia put out a Reddit AMA a few weeks ago with like very clear instructions. They were saying like, hey, these things are going to go live at 6 a.m. Pacific time. They gave us like the websites to order from and everything like that. I felt very good. I felt prepared. I went to bed. Before I went to bed, I had 3 different browsers open. I had all the different, websites open. I mean, I've pre-ordered things before. I've been through this. I pre-ordered iPhones and things like that. I know you have to be like ready to do it, but I didn't think that there were going to be that many people trying to get one of these graphics cards. So I had all the websites.
There weren't.
Well,
that many people.
I don't know. So we'll get to that. So I had all the websites open. Went to bed. Set my alarm for 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. 6 a.m. Pacific time is 8 a.m. my time. So I woke up at 7:50. Had the pages ready, to refresh. 8 o'clock comes around, and absolutely nothing happened. Like all of the websites that they had them available on. First of all, NVIDIA's website, All that was on NVIDIA's website was just a button that just said notify me coming on September 17th. And I just kept refreshing, and it just never changed from notify me to available to order. It never changed until almost 2 hours later when it just randomly changed to out of stock.
Unfortunate.
And then every other website, Best Buy, Amazon, every other website literally just went from like notify me or like available to pre-order, at this date to just out of stock. Like there was literally no chance for anyone to order these things. So there is all kinds of speculation. There's people thinking that bots bought these things, that people had, bots set up to just buy all of these in like 10 milliseconds so that they could resell them on eBay. There are now 3080s on eBay that are bidding at like $50,000. I don't. Yeah, I put a bid in today for 65,000, so it should be here tomorrow. No, I think what is happening.
Watch you stream from a carton box under the bridge.
I think what is happening is people are just messing with the scalpers, and they're just going in to artificially inflate those bids, and then they're just going to report them, which I think is a pretty good idea, honestly. But there's so many speculations on what happened. Nobody really seems to know. NVIDIA did put out a statement about this. They said, "Oh, we can't believe all these people wanted to buy our graphics card. That is an amazing deal. We just didn't know that there would be a high demand for it." But they also are looking into reviewing the orders to see if there were people that bought, multiple ones. Or if they were bought by bots or something like that. But there was just so much miscommunication on this. Lots of people were talking to customer representatives of Amazon, and Amazon said like they literally just never even got cards to sell. So that's why they never made them available to order on Amazon. There's certain brick and mortar stores that said that they only had like 2 or 3 cards to sell. It just seems like a mess. So I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get one. I'm a little disappointed with this because I had already prepared for this. This is a back behind me. That's my new power supply that I got specifically for this because I needed a bigger power supply. So I got that, and then I even pre-sold my GTX 1080 that I have right now to a website that's like a trade-in website. I had that sold, and I have until the 24th to box that up and ship it out, which I'm probably not going to be able to do now because I'm not going to be able to get one of these. I don't know. It's a mess, and I don't know how in the world a company like NVIDIA could screw this up as bad as they screwed it up. But they did. So I'm glad that they at least acknowledged that it was a mess and they're working on it, but it still doesn't help the fact that there were a bunch of people that wanted to buy these that just were not able to buy them. There was also a speculation. Someone looked at like the HTML code for NVIDIA's website, and they said that they found a timer on their website that was set to literally just swap from notify me to out of stock at 6 a.m. So there's a lot of people thinking that like they didn't even have anything to sell. NVIDIA has not said anything about that. I don't know. It's weird. I know I see.
Get it soon then.
Yeah, I mean it's not the end of the world if I can't get it. At the end of the day, these things are just things, They're just things that we enjoy playing games on. Video games are just something we all do for fun. It's not like it's bread and water that we're trying to get here. So it's not the end of the world. I'm not letting it get me too down about that kind of stuff.
So what are you going to do with your current GPU now that you have to sell?
Well, I mean, I don't have to sell it. I just got like a I don't know if you guys have these things. It's like a trade-in service, these websites. I think it's from like sellgpu.com or something like that, where you can just go to sell your used iPhone, cell phones, computer parts, that kind of stuff. So I just locked in a price for my current card that I have, and you don't, if you don't sell it in, you just don't get paid. It's not like anything happens. It's not like they send someone to your house like, "Where's your graphics card, sir?"
Well, let's see if you have both kneecaps in a week or two. So
Yeah. What if I just like roll out of here in wheelchair? Let's see. What else we got? Nintendo had a mini partner showcase, direct, whatever they call it. I don't know. I feel like they get longer and longer with those titles. I didn't get a chance to watch this live. I don't know if any of you guys watched it. They showed off a few interesting things. They showed off a new Monster Hunter game that's coming to the Switch. No word on if it's just coming to Switch or if it's multi-platform. I'm assuming that this is kind of like it looks a lot like Monster Hunter World Light, I guess. So I'm thinking that maybe they just have taken some of the systems from Monster Hunter World and just are kind of making a Switch game around this. They showed off Disgaea 6, Empire of Sin, Sniper Elite 4 is coming out, Hades, shadow dropped and was released, I guess, yesterday for the Nintendo Switch. PGA 2K21. And then they ended it with an Ori collection. So Will of the Wisps and the Blind Forest collection coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Nice little showcase. It's nice that they actually gave us a heads up that they were doing it this time. Usually it's just like the past few, you've just woken up and there's like, oh, there was a Nintendo Direct that happened today. Let's see, what else? Did you guys hear about the Fall Guys cheater islands that they set up?
I heard about it, yes.
This was hilarious. You know what Fall Guys is, Durbin?
Yeah, no, I know about the game. I'm just not
so
what that was.
they set up a specific map just for cheaters. So if they found out that people were cheating, they would put them all in the same match, and there were literally just like groups of cheaters that were just playing against each other. And there were people like getting upset. They were like, "Hey, I'm playing against cheaters for some reason," and it's because they were cheating. And they were very clear, like they were testing this out, and like they were only putting people there that they were like 100% sure were cheaters. So if you ended up there, you were cheating at some point. I just thought that was really funny, though.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like the ultimate, way to stick it to the cheaters. It's like, all right, you want to cheat? That's fine. We're just going to put you in a match with other cheaters.
Yeah, a few games have done that.
Yeah.
Isn't it also like in GTA 5 online that also like that there at some point it gets more likely that you play like you're connected with more cheaters as well, so you're basically playing against other cheaters as well.
I don't know.
Like that is
yeah, I think that's amazing that they do that though.
Yeah.
Every multiplayer game needs to do that.
I agree. I like creative ways to handle
that. Did you guys hear about the update to Left 4 Dead 2?
No.
So Left 4 Dead 2, like a 12-year-old game, apparently there's like an official update that is coming out that is like a story mode to it. I don't know a whole
never.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about it. I was just reading a little bit about it. If you're a Left 4 Dead fan, you might be worth checking this out. I imagine probably everyone already has Left 4 Dead 2. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Definitely worth checking that out. I think it's coming out on September 24th. And that's pretty much it that I have. The 3DS has been officially discontinued. Rip the 3DS.
Yes.
Any other news you guys had? Or anything that you guys wanted to talk about?
No, I think we went through everything. I mean, the most important things.
PS5 was the main thing.
Yeah, that was the big thing of the week.
All right. Well, let's see. Durbin, thank you so much for being here. What's coming up for you?
What's coming up for me? Well, I actually started playing on the stream. I've started playing The Wolf Among Us. Hasn't really clicked with me just yet. Off stream, I'm gonna be
I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, I've only done one night, so one chapter. People say it's as good, if not better, than The Walking Dead season 1, but with me, hasn't clicked just yet. I don't know why. Maybe it will eventually. And the game is good. Like I kind of like the characters. You got all the fairy tales, like Snow White, the dwarves, this guy, that guy, all of those characters. So that's funny. But the game itself, I'll give it some more time to click.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I enjoyed Wolf Among Us, but I didn't like it as much as Walking Dead season 1. I thought the storytelling is good, the characters are good, but there is something about Walking Dead season 1, like Lee and Clementine, those characters, they just, oh man, it's such a good set of characters.
I think the thing about those two games is in the Wolf Among Us, like the focus is on the main character. Then he's going around, doing his own stuff. He's not really, at least not so far, he's not really too close to anyone. Whereas in The Walking Dead, you have a really strong relationship between the two main characters. And as the game progresses, that's forming up more and more. And then you get to meet many more interesting characters along the way. Over here, it feels more like one guy and then everyone else on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you think when you get further into it.
Yeah, me too. I'm really curious to see how it's going to evolve.
What about you, Akko? What's coming up for you?
I am continuing with Tell Me Why on YouTube, and also I will do my first ever YouTube premiere on Sunday at 8 p.m. with the final episode of Chapter 2 of Tell Me Why. So whoever wants to join me for that live can catch up on all the other episodes up until then, but then Sunday 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel there will be the premiere, and we can hang out in the chat to talk about the happenings there. And aside from that, also Wasteland 3 every day with more episodes until the end of time.
Yeah, man, I really want to sink my teeth into Wasteland 3. I look forward to playing that at some point. So yeah, be sure and check out Durbum on twitch.tv/Durbum and Akko on YouTube, the Akko Sambo on YouTube. Let's see, I have got more Wind Waker coming up next week. I also will be playing I'll be playing Dead Rising 2, kind of a special stream that I'm going to be doing on Monday at 12 p.m. Central Time. DeCellis from our community and my good friend is going to be playing with me in co-op. I fell in love with Dead Rising 1, really took me by surprise, so I'm super excited to get into Dead Rising 2 and play that. And yeah, I'll be playing more Wind Waker, probably finish that up next week. And then I have no idea what I'm going to be playing after that. Actually, I know what I'm going to be playing after that. I'm going to be playing Work like crazy because October is going to be a bit crazy for me. So streams are probably going to be all over the place in October. But until then, we'll still be doing the podcast on Fridays. You can watch live at twitch.tv/Hal451, 2 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. European Time. Until when do you guys change time to out of daylight saving time.
I think it's like always 2 weeks before you guys change or something like that.
I think
always
for
like a
us it's
2 week difference. Let me
we're
see.
going to have to remember that because I know it's like a 2-week difference and it's going to be confusing. I think for us it's like the first weekend of November it changes.
It's yeah, so here it's Sunday 25th.
Okay. It might be like the 7th or something for us, November 7th.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Then it's again that 2 weeks. Yeah.
normally it'll be 2 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. European Time. So feel free to catch us live, and then you can also listen after the fact on YouTube. On my YouTube channel, I put up the VODs, and you can listen to this in a podcast format in wherever podcasts are found. But until next time, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching live, if you're in chat, feel free to hang out for a little bit more if you guys want to chat. I'll be here for a little bit longer. Durban, Akko, you guys are welcome. No pressure to stay though if you can't. But yeah, for everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Durbum, like I said, I meant to mention this to you earlier, but Akko and I have been hanging out for just a little bit after the stream just to chat with people since we didn't really get a chance to chat during the stream.
I know.
No pressure. No pressure to hang out if you need to go or anything.
No, I don't need to go just yet.
I got you again, Danny.
Yes.
Possum, thank you. Thank you for being here. Nobody will remember that. We'll just wait for the Twitch notification.
I probably will forget as well. It always takes me a little bit.
Oh, how is everyone in chat? Thank you guys so much for being here. Did anyone else get a PS5 or pre-order? Or try to?
Well, when you asked it the first time, like 4 people said no, 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 no. And I said no, and Akko said no, so I have the feeling you're the only one who's done it so far.
Yeah, I saw that too. Was that a no that you didn't get one, or that you just didn't try, or what was it? I think Danny got one, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Danny got one, yeah.
Man, I'm so sad that my deal ran out today. Like, if it lasted until tomorrow, I think I would have just went for it. It's a shame.
I hope it'll come back for you.
Me too. I mean, this was too good to be true, so people just took advantage of it straight away, I suppose.
You're sure it was a legitimate?
It was a legitimate.
Okay.
It's one of the better websites in Croatia for PlayStation.
Just as legitimate as his 1 terabyte SSD from 11 years ago.
DeSellis just bought a new PC a few months back, so you can't justify getting either console yet. Yeah, DeSellis, I was going to ask you about that. So are you not planning on getting the Xbox right away? I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, there's nothing exclusive to the Xbox Series S or X, I don't think, for a while anyway.
If you just got a new PC that is ready to go and like top notch for the current games, like I can see that there's no real pressure to get any console anytime soon.
Yeah.
Vermaat shows up once it's over. It's like, oh, finally they stopped talking about games.
Everything you want to play can be done on your PC and Xbox One X you already own, yeah. Vermalt has been lurking in the shadows.
Ooh.
What's everyone doing for the weekend? Anybody got any plans? Playing games?
Games? Football?
Games and football?
Yeah.
Playing or watching?
Watching, sadly. Haven't been playing for the last few months, so we need to change that.
Danny, you're excited for Cyberpunk? Did anyone watch I think I should have mentioned this, but they had a what do they call it? Nightwire, City Wire or something. The updates for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
They had one of those.
few weeks ago.
They had one today.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they had a new one. You went to go riding your bike, Danny? Oh, that sounds cool. Do you have like is it like an urban environment that you go riding in, or do you have like trails that you go on or anything like that? Hey KS Nigel, it's good to see you. Playing games and watching Twitch and probably a bit of Netflix. What are you going to watch on Netflix? Vermont plans on existing. It's going to be wild.
That's a good plan, Vermont.
Today is Beer Responsible Day for Possum. So I just hope everyone is staying responsible. ODM, you plan on going blind into that game? Yeah, me too for Cyberpunk. I haven't watched any of those Nightwire cityscape things, whatever they're calling them. You're somehow excited for it, even that you've not seen anything about it. Just have an infectious hype around it. Yeah. Playing games, going on a walk with your friends. So you go on trails, Danny? That sounds fun. Oh, it's a global day. I got you. Gonna bake an apple pie. Ooh, that sounds good. Do you guys have apple pie in Germany or Croatia?
We should do, yeah.
I feel like
one in a while, though.
I feel like Vermont has said that they don't have apple pie.
No, we have for sure apple pie. Different types of apple pies.
We're gonna have some of them during the autumn right now, but not just yet.
Is the weather starting to get nice for you guys?
We don't have American apple pie. Yeah, that's true because we have German apple pie.
What is the difference, though?
I don't know. I don't even know the difference between pie and cake, so don't ask me.
Yeah, Vermont always says she doesn't know the difference between pie and cake. I don't really understand that, but I guess you guys have different cakes.
Wait, what? Well, I don't know how to explain it, but there's a clear difference between cakes and pies.
Cake is like a flour-based sweet. Yeah, I don't know. It is hard to describe.
See,
pie has like a pie crust and then a filling, and cake is like more like a bread type thing.
That doesn't really help. What's a cheesecake then? Is it a pie?
Danielle, do you and Akko talk about this too? I feel like Vermont and I talk about this all the time.
It's a reoccurring topic, for sure.
Oh, she gave you a quiz.
I don't want to say daily.
Cake is spongy? Yeah. What's a cheesecake then? Okay, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I will admit, cheesecake doesn't make any sense. It doesn't... The definition of cheesecake, or my definition of cake doesn't really make sense when it comes to cheesecake. Apple pie can differ in terms of what kind of apples you put in it. You can put just sliced apples in or preserved apples. We should ask a specialist. Whereas pie, I don't know. I haven't seen pie in a while.
True, Vermont. German cheesecake doesn't have cheese. It has quark.
Yeah, Vermont was telling me about that. Because Vermont told me that she doesn't like cheesecake. And I was like, what?
Same.
But Vermont loves cream cheese. And I was like, how can you not like cheesecake? And then she was telling me what it really is. And I was like, oh, you haven't ever had cheesecake then?
No, me neither. And I don't like our cheesecake either because I don't like quark. So it's like, I guess I will have to try the American cheesecake. I heard you have whole factories there.
We do. Danielle tried court today? How was it? What did you think?
Well, I have to Google what a quark is. Second.
It's like kind of like a yogurty milk product, similar-ish.
It's the smallest part of an atom.
Oh,
Okay, just looking at this, I don't remember eating that, but maybe I did.
I looked it up. It isn't a thing in the US. It's not very common there. So
Yeah. You hate Greek yogurt, but you really like cork.
Elementary particle and the fundamental constituent of matter. What the hell?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's the
I feel
smallest
we are
part
not
of an
talking
atom.
about that part.
Yeah, I think they're talking about different cork.
I'll find it for you.
No, I found it over here. It's explained in Croatian though, but I get what it is. It's a type of fresh dairy product made by warming sour milk until the desired amount of curdling is met, and then straining it. Sounds like too much work, to be honest.
So Possum is asking, what else do Americans use for cheesecake? So our cheesecake is made with cream cheese, sugar, and then usually like vanilla or chocolate, and then like you put an egg in it to firm it up, and then you bake it.
Do you have to cook the egg?
Well,
Cooked egg?
Not
Fried egg?
before. Yes, you just put a scrambled egg in it.
Just in the center. With a runny yolk.
It is very heavy, Possum. Yeah, it's like super, super rich. And a fried egg on top. That's right. You can put a fried egg on anything.
True.
Ooh, do you guys like runny yolks? I
Yeah,
like
it
runny yolks.
it has to be a waxy consistency.
A waxy consistency.
Yeah.
What?
Or viscosity, I should say.
Like Philadelphia cream cheese, yeah. And bacon? No. No bacon. Although you probably can get a bacon cheesecake in America. Because I feel like you can get a bacon anything in America.
Bacon is life over there.
Akka's doing it on
Except
purpose.
for the big tasty bacon, because we have them a year round, and you guys only have them in timed events, right?
Wait, what?
The big tasty bacon from McDonald's.
Oh, I have
You have them
no
year
idea.
round?
I haven't
I
eaten
think-
at
like,
McDonald's in
Me neither.
years.
I just it's one of those common things where people like that's their favorite McDonald's item apparently, and like
I don't even
Germany
know what
is
that
year-round.
is.
It's a burger with bacon.
Oh, I just make my own burgers and put my own bacon on it.
But do you have that year round?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I grill out like in the middle of January. It'll be like 10 degrees and I'll be barbecuing. I don't ever understand why why barbecuing is like a spring and summer type thing.
It's cold outside. That's why. It's
And
not
so
enjoyable.
how is it bad to stand next to a burning hot grill?
But I feel like it's also it's nicer to also then sit outside when you're having a barbecue.
Not in
think it comes from
America.
that.
Not when it's like 110 degrees outside and 90% humidity.
So I also learned that obviously barbecue is very, very different depending on where you are at in America,
Yeah.
right? And so if you say, "Oh, do you want to come over for barbecue?" It really depends whether you're in Kentucky, Massachusetts, or Texas. You probably get 3 completely different barbecues.
There's very different types of barbecue. Texas has like its own type of barbecue. Texas typically has like much more brisket, I would say, which brisket is amazing. And then there's like, if you're talking about like pulled pork, there are, I guess you would say, like 2 main kinds. There's like a vinegary sauce that people put on it, which I hate. And then there's like a sweet and savory kind of thick barbecue sauce that people put on it, which is more like a St. Louis style, they would call it.
Okay.
And I personally like that much more.
Sausage with maple syrup?
Okay, does no one else do this? So in like if you have breakfast, you have like pancakes and we have like these sausage links that it's like, it's I guess what you guys would say like minced meat, but it's like pork, and it's like seasoned pork, and it's like a link of seasoned pork, which we call sausage. And like when I'm eating pancakes and like you put syrup on it, I just like dip the sausage in the syrup. Danielle does it. See?
I don't even know what to say. No wonder that you guys don't know the difference between cake and pie.
Wait, DeCellis says, I judge Hal all the time regardless of his breakfast habits. Possum can eat a lot of things with maple syrup. Yeah, you can eat anything with maple syrup.
I only use it for the...
I never had maple syrup.
Really?
No. It's not really a thing here, so it's the same with peanut butter. I did have peanut butter, but it's not really common here. Like you find it in a normal grocery store, but like it's like just you have like one or two sorts of peanut butter, and like one brand, but that's about it.
I've never had it actually, never ever. So
you've
I
never
don't
had
mind
peanut
it.
butter?
No.
I don't mind it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get peanut butter on anything.
Like, I've never seen it being sold over here, so.
Do you guys, in your grocery store, Durbin, do you have like an American section or anything?
Nope.
Interesting.
We don't. It's not really an American section here, but we have lots of products that are coined American, like American burger bread and American pizza, and it's usually extra fatty, extra sweet. Like that's really what it's about.
Do you have an Aldi close to you?
Not close to me personally, no, but
because they do an American week, right?
Yeah.
Is it really German week this week? Oh no!
And y'all bought a bunch of German things to try out.
I did that last year. Oh, I have to go to Aldi. They're probably going to be out of most stuff, though.
What did you try out? What's like the stand-up things that you have never had before that you had?
I got some Spätzle. Käse Spätzle.
Yeah. Käse Spätzle, yeah.
I got some... They had some different sausages. Let's see. They had some sauerkrauts. I'm trying to remember what else I got. When Vermont was here, we actually went to a German restaurant, though. They have one in Nashville, Tennessee, that is it's actually a Bavarian restaurant, and it's like a traditional Bavarian restaurant. Vermont said it was okay.
I mean, I would have assumed so that any German restaurant would be Bavarian themed, because apparently that is all that we are, Bavarians.
Yeah. The joy of cuisine. I'm trying to think. Vermont, do you remember anything else that I got? Vermont tried a couple of some of the things that I got. Nigel, you never went to Aldi? Are you in the US, Nigel? Aldi is so good. Oh yeah, I got some pickles. The pickles honestly tasted just like regular pickles to me, though. Oh, you're in the UK. Yeah. Do they have Aldi in UK? Minish came here for video games. Hal's talking about food. We're done with the video game talk, Minish. They do have Aldi in the UK. All right.
The joy of pizzas.
Seems to be everywhere else, Aldi. Not in Croatia, though. At least not around where I live over here.
No Aldi in Croatia.
Yeah, we don't have American sections. We don't have Aldi where I live. At least around my area, you know. I'm not sure about the north, like closer to the capital. Maybe they have it.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Danielle. I can't remember, Vermont, I can't remember what those things were called, but I got some, it was like wafers that had chocolate on them.
Erdem's flips.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think I got any Kinder stuff.
Oh my god, this Alice. Kinder Bueno is the best.
I don't think they had any Kinder stuff when I went last year. Man, I hope they still have some stuff. I wonder, does it go through Saturday or is it just through Friday? It will begin September 16th. Oh, wait. It will begin September 16th. Well, that was just 2 days ago. Oh yeah, I got some mustard.
So, has Famal told you about the German habit of having mustard glasses as drinking glasses at home?
No, I don't think so.
So, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it's also a thing in South Germany. So maybe Famal has to correct me here, but it is very, very common. Basically, every normal household has a few drinking glasses that were originally mustard glasses, because for some reason it just caught on, and then the companies actually adjusted their jars, so to speak, to be actually be used as drinking glasses after you use all of the mustard.
Interesting.
Yeah, your grandma, yeah.
Is that like us using mason jars?
Yeah, a little bit. Just like if you Google like German mustard glass or Senf glass, then you see they kind of look like regular drinking glasses. And if you're invited here, especially when it's like students or where you're not necessarily buying a big set of matching glasses, you 100% find some of these in the cupboard.
Possum says that they have Nutella glasses. Do I have matching drinking glasses? Yeah, I do. That would be like us using jam jars or pickle jars. Okay. Durbin, what are some Croatian delicacies? What like, is there anything unique to Croatia food-wise?
Unique to Croatia? You're asking the most uninformed person.
I don't know. What is like a typical Croatian meal?
Typical Croatian meal? I don't know, man. I generally tend to eat the same thing over and over again.
What do you eat?
Well, not every single day, but I have like 5-7 days a week. 2 days a week it's pasta. How do you call it? Pasta? Is that in English?
Yeah.
2 days a week it's something else. 2 days a week it's something else. Then on Sunday it's something special. And we just tend to repeat that all the time. So I don't really know what's considered special anymore, honestly.
So you eat a lot of pasta. What else do you eat?
We eat a lot of meat over here, like almost on daily, not on daily basis, but every second day for sure. We eat soups all the time as well, like on daily basis soups. I don't know what else. There's few things, but I'm not sure how. Let me actually just find out how are they called in English. 1 second.
Minish, are you having fun with Galaxy? Minish, how are you playing it? Are you playing it with a Pro controller?
Is it like that? Prosciutto? Do you pronounce it like that?
Prosciutto, yeah.
Oh, prosciutto.
Yeah, that's quite popular in my region of Croatia.
Okay.
We actually tend to sort it out over here as well.
Do you have I mean, you're right across the what right across from you is Italy, right?
Yeah.
I know it's not right across, but
no, it's close-ish.
What separates you? What's the body of water that separates you?
Adriatic Sea, I think it's called in English, right? We have a different name, Croatian.
Adriatic.
Or Adria. In German we say Adria.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
We call it Yadran food. I don't know why. Yadran scene.
is your food similar to Italian at all?
Well, I've never been to Italy, but from what I heard, it quite is. They also tend to eat a lot of seafood. Pasta seems to be quite popular over there as well. You know, of course, pizzas and all that kind of stuff. Prosciutto as well. It's quite similar, I would say. Quite similar, at least from what I hear about them.
Do you guys make pasta or make pizza much?
You mean make them at home? No, not really.
Do you make like handmade pasta or just like dried pasta?
Dried pasta.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'm not the most informed when it comes to cuisine, so I always feel out of place talking about it. Kind of sad about it, but I mean, yeah.
I'm just always so curious about like other types of cuisine because I love food. And I love trying new types of food.
Well, what's Lesko supposed to be? You're supposed to be asking me if I eat Lesko. What's that? Lesko. I don't know what Lesko is, Apostle. I'm trying to Google it, but it's giving me some Lesko online bill. Lesko delivers advanced techniques that are carefully formulated and rigorously tested. Never mind.
Oh yeah, maybe like Bosnian food? Is it kind of like Bosnian food?
Well, I only lived a couple of years in Bosnia, but from Bosnia we mainly tend to bring across. Second.
I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, but cevapici, is that a Croatian thing? I know it was like cevapici.
Oh yeah, I mean that originally comes from Bosnia. Cevapici. That's
Bosnia, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also very popular in Croatia. That used to be my meal, like for almost 20 years until some time ago when I kind of slowed down because my stomach was having none of it anymore.
Yeah, it's very common here too, very popular. Like you find it here everywhere, and like for those who don't know, it's pretty much small ground beef sausage, not sausages but rolls, like ground beef rolls that are very heavily spiced. So very yummy.
It's like
very good for barbecue.
Yeah, it's. I was just going to say that it's the perfect barbecue food. But yeah, we also have a lot of that house. So it's. I think with that we are slightly different to Italy. Well, I might be wrong, but I don't think they eat that sort of food as often as we do.
I would probably call it sausage. I feel like I call a lot of things sausage.
It's not I mean, it looks like sausage, but it's not really a sausage.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have like a hull.
I don't actually know the name of that product in English. Like whenever I check it online, it says what's the name it says in English, which is not the one from Turkey, you know. Jesus Christ, what's the name of that food from Turkey?
Turkish food?
No, the specific one from Turkey. Specific one. I can't remember now. But yeah, I don't know the name for this one in English one bit. I've tried to explore to search for it, but I can't find it.
Alright guys, I think we should wrap it up here. I need to get going. This was fun though. I like the after podcast food talk. I want to learn more about Croatian food too. All right, guys. Well, Durbum, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Akko, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And to everyone in chat, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend as well. Yeah, be sure and go check out Akko's stuff on YouTube, Durbum stuff on Twitch. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.